Now, when we talk about innovation and creativity on the netball court, one person's name comes to mind, and that is Anna Harrison, who coined the Harrison Hoist, which celebrates 10 years this year. Anna Harrison is joining us now. Anna, welcome to Inside Netball.
Thanks for having me. Excuse the youngest climbing around the car and us looking like drowned rats. We've just been to the pool.
No, good on you. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Look, we're talking about innovation, creativity on the netball court, Anna, and the Harrison Hoist, as I mentioned, celebrating 10 years this year. So can you wind your mind back a little bit to that time about bringing that move onto the court? Why and how did you come to that decision on that day?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was a while ago, and I guess it was never my idea, just to be clear. It was, I think, a Singapore team did it against maybe Sri Lankan. They had a very tall shooter, and I guess it was the Silver Fern coaches saw it at the time and thought, why can't we do that? That was the time that Romelda Aitken and those tall shooters were coming on the scene, and it sort of needed something else for the shot. So I remember we had discussion at Fern's camp, that January camp, and then it was with the Mystics that we played around with it and what we could do. And we had a training where we were really trying a whole lot of things. I was sort of at one stage on, I think it was Rachel Rasmussen's shoulders, just sitting on them going, oh, this feels a bit wrong. So it was something that we practiced, and there was no plan of when exactly to use it. But it just happened that we got in the right position. We'd talked about doing it in that game against the Vixens in Australia, which turned out to be a really good time to do it because it sort of gave netball a boost in the media, which is always nice.
Scarlett, have you been surprised with the longevity of the Harrison Hoist? You know, it's kind of evolved over time. People are still using it. Other countries are using it. I mean, is that a surprise, or was it a surprise that it sort of caught on so well?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually not what we originally did, because they banned they created goaltending rule in netball. So you can't actually attack the ball on the way down, which when we did it was always lifting up towards the rim of the net to intercept the ball there. So that's what the original lift was about. And then they banned that. So the lifts that you see now are you're trying to attack the ball on the way up, which is a lot harder in terms of timing and, again, positioning. So it's cool to see it. There's always been talk about more lifting happening within the netball court. So whether a shooter gets lifted, you could lift in the mid-court to get through a zone, but it's easy to talk about, but to execute and be sort of present and everyone be on the same page is another thing.
You've been dabbling back in volleyball, your other happy place. Is there anything from that sport that you could, I've noticed you sometimes doing like a dive onto the court with a bit of a dig to get the ball up. Are there other things that you could bring into netball?
I don't think there's anything I can bring in, but definitely the crossover of playing volleyball and netball through my school years is evident in the way that I play the game. I'm an aerial. Volleyball taught me to control my body better, and just timings to reach the ball. So that's why the shot has just translated from the volleyball. I guess, again, in volleyball, you learn to dive and land and fall, and I often end up on the ground in netball. So that's done well for me to know how to fall properly.
And fast forward to 2022, you're a stalemate for the Northern Stars now. Looking at the rest of the season, 3 rounds but 6 games remaining. How are you holding up?
Surprisingly well, actually. This last sort of 3 weeks, we've had so many games. Those midweek ones were a real challenge, especially with school holidays. We had kids home, and my mum came up for the second week, which was amazing. And then this weekend was definitely, after that big 2 weeks, was going to be a test. And I'm feeling pretty good, actually. I'm quietly, well, not quietly, because I'm going to say I'm chuffed that I am still walking and able to move. I'm definitely tired, hence the pool session, and the work that I need to do is way more than it ever was when I was younger. But the priorities for me is recovery and maintaining. I'm not trying to get gains in the gym and my fitness improvement. It's just making sure that when it comes game day, I'm ready to fire.
Scarlett, I'm in absolute awe that you're still playing. I retired, I think I was 30, and I only had one child. So to the fact that you've made 150 National League matches is just fabulous. And you actually played on the court in the weekend with another Centurion, Elisapeta Toyava. And she, to me, is another innovator, a bit like yourself. You know, she's got that flair. How important is it to have these characters, these innovators in our game?
Oh yeah, I think it would be a sort of a bit boring if you didn't have players in any sport that sort of provided that different way of playing or thinking, or the looks, which obviously people talk about. For me, it's entertainment. I mean, that's part of our job as athletes. We're entertainers as well. It's not why we get into it, but it's nice to provide that for the people that love the game. And Peta is a great example of someone that adds flair and excitement to you know, a simple pass into the circle can look amazing by her because of the timing and the vision that she had.
How do you think the game compares, Anna, between now and what have you've been playing this, 20 years or so? How does it compare now with what it was when you first started?
I think everyone talks about the physicality and and again, it ties into the fact that it's more professional now. So you've got more time to get stronger and faster and fitter to be able to play this physical game. It's definitely, if I was starting now, I don't think that I would be around as long. I'm not the build for the muscling up and running with and things like that, and that's not the way that I play the game. I think that New Zealand netball has that, especially in the defence end, that ability to play off the body and confuse space. And I think I'm a big fan because that's the way that I play. But I read something of Peta's that the more physical a game gets, the less she plays to her skill. And I think that's a really good thing to remember in netball. Even though we're bigger, we're faster, we're fitter, still want to play skillful. And that ties into the innovative stuff as well. You can see more and make it more of a fun game to watch. But if you like watching the bash and crash, then I guess you'll disagree with me.
It just feels like you have still so much to give to the game. And finally, you know, have you had any conversations with Kitty about 2023? Have you given it a thought about coming back for another season?
No, we've had no conversations. Just the intensity of this season I don't think there's any room for talking about next year. But at this point in time, I'm playing every game like it's my last. It is full on with the kids, and I'm noticing I missed Georgia's first netball game on the weekend, and it's little things like, well, they're not little things, they're big things like that. Now the kids are older, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm feeling that. So I'm going to play out the next month like it's my last again, because I've done it a few times now. But as I've said before, I am pretty much, no one is changing my mind. So never say never, but at this stage, I'm just going to enjoy and give it my everything the next month.
Well, Anna, thank you so very much for joining us. You and your son, of course, in the car straight after swimming. We really appreciate it.
It's all right. Thanks for putting up with this is how it rolls now with kids. It's just adapt. So thanks for letting him hang out in the background.
Yeah, we've all been there. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Oh, thanks so much, guys. Take care.